Man, I am sorry. I turned this on and completely forgot about it. So that was 11 minutes of starting soon. So, hi. I guess I'm back on Facebook. We got kicked off there. Yesterday's video blog was a really good one. So if you want to see that, go to our channel. Sorry We're Stoned on YouTube. I think that one's still alive. Yeah, they get killed all the time, but that one's still alive. Sorry We're Stoned on YouTube. Check us out. Yeah, we're like a gaming channel and stuff, so we have a lot of gaming stuff and stuff there. We're also on Twitch too, SWS Studios. You're probably watching us on one of those platforms, but go check it out. You'll see yesterday's conversation, because yesterday's conversation was a good one that I hold ever so dear. So, today's conversation. I don't know. I wanted to kind of discuss a lab and what that means. You know what I mean? A lab and what that means, right? What is a lab, right? There are, of course, definitely some strong words. What up, Fana? I hope y'all get a chance to come play Thursday. We might do Grand Theft Auto. Alright. Might do New Warzone, too. I don't know if we could get it downloaded. We'll see what happens. But a lab, I know that there's some good definitions out there. A lot of people believe it's one thing. A lot of people believe it's other. And what are you doing in your lab to, prepare it? Trust me, I have been around now, and I love it. I hear a lab, and I go and check it out, and it's usually like a closet in a bedroom. I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, this is a cool lab. And I'm not discrediting that. Do that if that's where you're at. But just kind of bring a level to it. Let's tell you a story, right? Let's go back. Let's go back in time. This is as much telling my story as it is telling the story of what's going down. I was at Seattle Hemp Fest, right? I used to do Hemp Fest tours, and we would do a booth, and I would sell everything but the glass pipe, because of course every other booth sold the glass pipe. So we had every accessory around it. We had cool knickknacks. We put on a show. When people came up to our booth, everybody loved it. It was great. We really changed the way people interacted with people at these shows. We would draw a crowd around our booth, and my guys were so good at selling that they would just draw this crowd, right? And they would just keep selling, doing the show. I would have to occasionally, we came up with a whole program where I would tap the guy on the shoulder, which meant, shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. And you can see him. He's, physically counting in his head the seconds while he's just kind of, patiently waiting to turn back on and start doing the sales pitch again. And I would have people come out, and then they would, kind of keep track of who wanted what, and then pitch it to them and get it sold. And the thing that I loved about I loved about Seattle Hemp Fest is how free it was, and how people felt so free and felt like being themselves. It was the only day that the cops were actually friendly to us before, cannabis legalization. It was a great day. And I'll never forget, because I was working on some of the legalization efforts. I think it was on my second round. It was my second or third round. I did 5 legalization efforts, worked on 5 different legalization efforts, had failure, and finally, successful. Was it perfect? No, of course. Looking back on it, it wasn't perfect. And to this day, everybody's like, oh man, Washington really messed it up. Well, you know what? It was better than people going to jail. I mean, that's what our goal was. We forget that. Yeah, Colorado made a great system. They led it, blah, blah, blah. But, I digress. We all legalized. Colorado beat us by an hour. The longest hour of my life. I tell that constantly. Okay, but we're at Seattle Hemp Fest. I'm working on, I think it was my second or my third legalization effort. So, of course, you fail 3 times. Most people give up the first time they fail. The third time you fail, it's hard to scrape yourself up. It's hard to be positive. It's hard to, grab the reins and say, yo, we failed a couple times, but we out here doing it again. We ain't giving up. We still out here doing it. We still out here gathering signatures. And something I kept trying to bring to all my people and myself. And, I know my appearance sometimes appears a fun, happy guy, was a level of respect. I even put on a suit and wore a suit all the time and made sure I had my jacket all nice. And, I try to play the game, and I did. I mean, I literally was called a lobbyist by, like, fellow movement people. Like, I mean, that stuff hurts a guy's soul, right? Like, I'm just trying to fight for cannabis right now, and you're calling me a lobbyist? Like, come on, man. I mean, yeah, I am trying to lobby the government to not arrest people over cannabis and to have a hemp industry. So, okay, but one of the things I noticed, and a lot of my fellow signature gatherers, and this effort, if I remember right, it's been a long time, but I'm going to try to recall this. If I remember right, this was one of the efforts that was one of the more positive efforts. Like, it was really, if I remember right, it was really an open effort. It was truly like we're legalizing, no regulated system. It was illegal one day, it's now legal the next day, and it was one of those movements. And, had huge amounts of support. Medical community supported it, everything, right? But I noticed a lot of my compatriots, there was one group, and they were trying to get signatures, and they got on stage, and I don't know why, but they started to do this thing. And if somehow I know these people and they're following me or whatever, I am so sorry, but I thought it was kind of weird at the time. They did this thing where they got everybody riled up, and they all howled at the sun, and they would sit there and howled at the sun like a bunch of wolves. And in my mind, I am thinking to myself, how are we supposed to get the plain Jane Miss Voter, keep it up with the Joneses voter to vote for us if we are out here looking a fool? Like, they're not going to vote for us if they think that, you smoke cannabis, you're going to howl at the sun like a crazy wolf. Right? Am I wrong? I don't think I was, because sadly, that effort didn't pass. And even the next effort, which had more regulation, didn't pass. And then the effort after that, which had a lot of regulation in it, sadly, did pass. But that had no support from the medical community. We had no support from the medical community for 502. Medical community hated our guts. I mean, they were the ones screaming at the things, just hating as much as they could, doing everything good to stop us. And I find this funny, because even though we had the medical community support, that third effort completely failed. I mean, did not have even close to enough signatures to even get on the ballot. And 502 hit the ballot, and furthermore, was successful. So how did we lose the cannabis medical community and still win? Like, come on, man. It was a crazy time, and I know why. And it boils down to why we're having this conversation. A lab. You can run around and call yourself a lab with your basement, with your closet. But if you want people to respect us, if you want this industry to truly grow and not get shut down and stopped by the moms and pops who are worried that you're going to start selling, chocolate bars to the kids, we have to have a little self-respect, have a little bit of self-regulation. I mean, I've seen bars floating around on the market right now that literally used the Girl Scouts logo on the bar for a psilocybin product, claiming to be a psilocybin product. Most likely it's not even a fully true psilocybin product, but it literally uses the Girl Scout cookies thing on the bar. And then of course you ask anybody, oh no man, these are lab certified, lab tested, and all lab approved with a license and everything. Well, they haven't issued no licenses yet. And labs technically ain't getting approved for psilocybin production at this current moment. So why come up with all this stuff and do all this posturing to make a couple bucks real fast, but hurt everyone in the long run? Hurt the industry in the long run. And mark my words, somebody's going to come up and say it. Some religious group is going to do it. You're going to see the media pick it up. They're going to be, they're marketing to your kids. They're trying to sell to your kids. All because people are not taking it seriously. I love having fun, and I know that we're on a bigger goal, but you also have to bring a small level of seriousness to this operation. And that's why when you say your lab, you got to get the stainless steel. You got to have the stainless steel tables. You got to make sure your sinks are up on point. You got to make sure your fire suppression is on point. All these little things are the things that the current, status quo system is going to want to see to verify that this is something not to be afraid of. And of course, we aren't afraid of it. We know this. We grew up with it. We have friends that, we eat mushrooms all the time. We got friends that eat mushrooms all the time. Everybody's fine. Everybody takes care of the kids. But you got to remember, some of these people, they don't have that. To them, they think this is the end of the world with it, and that, mushrooms is going to come through and just completely alter society, which probably is going to do, but in a positive way. And they're terrified. And so to show them that we can be accepted, we have to, straighten it up a little bit. Make it look good. Make it look nice and presentable. Package it properly. Use everything that you need to at your toes. And there are some great products out there that got some great packaging. I've seen one of them. One of them is great, man. They're great. Great products out there. They're good ones. But, there's a lot of mud out there. A lot of people, they're just getting excited. They're trying to make their buck as fast as they can, and, no knocking the hustle. But let's just, come on, man. The cannabis thing got out of control. Let's be real with it. We know the cannabis thing got out of control. The whole vape epidemic, blah, 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 which could have been COVID. Who knows? That's a conspiracy theory for another day. But realistically, it was easy to use. It was an easy tool. It was an easy market, and now other people are getting affected. Let's be real. Even the CDC reported. You could check back on my Sorry We're Stoned. We did a video, I think, called Truth Bomb. It was one of our first videos, so it's a really bad video, but we did it. And it's basically the CDC coming out and being like, yo, cannabis is the reason we're having some of these issues. It's illegal, unregulated carts, and you got guys who are cutting it with all kinds of bad stuff like vitamin E, just trying to hit the market because we were not necessarily showing, a positive outlook on cannabis. And Colorado did, they showed a lot of schools getting built, a lot of every positive things happening from cannabis. And, that's what needs to happen. We need to not have a flood of market. Recently there was even a report of a child, and this is the worst part. I even had a discussion with somebody at the last trade show. A child had gotten an edible, and they had consumed it, and supposedly they had died. Now, we all know that's complete, utter bullshit. Okay, you have to consume so much THC and so much CBD to die from cannabis. But some of these altered chemicals, some of these other chemicals that's put into these cool candy looking products, that's a different story. What happens if your body consumes way too much HHC or Delta 9? What happens, right? I'd love to see somebody answer that one. I love to see somebody come in the comment section and tell me that one. Tell me what your product does. Tell me what your product does in the high dosage. If some kid got in there and ate 4 of your freaking gummy ropes when you're saying that you should only a quarter of the gummy rope, what's going to happen, right? And yeah, you could blame the parents, you could blame that, but there's got to come to a point where us as an industry has to represent ourselves to a bigger community, to a mainstream community, you know? And if we're going to do that, we need to make sure it's inviting. So make sure you clean that lab up. Get that good equipped. Go ahead and make sure that your floors are swept properly on time. Make sure everything's clean in there, bro. Take the time to care. Make sure your packaging looks beautiful and isn't using something really enticing to kids. Don't put the Girl Scout logo on the package. Come on, guys. Like, let's show everyone that this industry can be successful. This industry can become mainstream. And that psilocybin products can help more people than they care to say. So that's my chat for the day. I look forward to any other conversations. I don't really see any questions popping up. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them at me on my Facebook. Throw them at me in the comment sections. We'll get them and we'll answer them. And, you know, if you got topic ideas, you want to discuss anything, let me know and we'll make it happen. But, you know, we only got about 35 days before the license applies. So I'm going to go get back in the lab. Finish up working on things, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.